Okay, hello sophomores and freshmen who are joining us for chemistry. We're going to start just like an intro video to kind of talk about our syllabus a little bit, some lab safety, and then we're going to enter this thing called claim, evidence, and reasoning, which you're going to see all semester long on pretty much every assessment that we take. So like I said, we're going to talk over the syllabus, some expectations. If you are in person, you're going to get to know your lab group or partner who you're sitting kind of socially distanced near. If you are a virtual learner, you obviously will not be doing that part. This is more for you guys. My contact information, that's my school email. You can also find every way to reach me through the Google site posted on the school website. You can also come visit me in person. I do have to update, this is not the room number that you want. I am in the new science wing. If you walk up the big stairs, I am the first door on the right. And my planning time, as you'll see in the syllabus that I'm going to hand out to you, is first period every day. So if you need to come visit me, come talk to me, get help with anything, first period every day, during musky time, in person or virtually, and then before school or after school, again, in person or virtually. Just let me know when you can meet and I can make that work. So I'm pretty available anytime that you would need me. For this year, with things being a little bit different, we're going to try and make sure that we get through everything. Some things might have to be cut down a little bit, or we might not spend as much time on things. But this is just a general kind of flow of the units. Chemistry is a lot more fast-paced than biology was. We go through about a unit every 1 to 2 weeks. So it goes fast. I need you to stay with me, and definitely this is a time to ask questions if you have them. I love questions. I will always take them. But this is our schedule. You're going to have access to this PowerPoint, so you can always go back and read through it more specifically, or in the hard copy of the syllabus, you'll get that also. Has all the same material. Well, what should you bring every day? Your Chromebook, charge it please. We have lots of outlets in here. If you want to just bring your charger, that's fine, but it's a lot easier if it's just charged. You can bring a calculator if you have one. I also have a class set, so that's not a huge deal. A pen or a pencil. I have extra. I'd rather not have to give them all away. And then either a notebook or a folder. We're going to be doing a lot of practice problems, and it might be helpful for you to write things down, so I would suggest having one of the two. Binder is also fine. Whatever you really prefer, I'm not too picky. All right, I'm not going to read every single thing on these next couple slides because I think by now you could probably get the gist of them. It's not that different from last year. But classroom expectations. So on your on-site days, I expect you to be here and be on time. I do understand sometimes it takes a while to get from class to class, but try and get here on time or soon after the bell rings. Bathroom breaks. Please ask if you need to use the bathroom. We have to sign you out just to make sure we can kind of keep a trace of where everyone's going in case we have to do contact tracing because of the coronavirus. Come prepared. You all know this. Again, some more basic things. Don't interrupt. Just listen when I'm talking. I'll always get your attention, give you time to talk. Don't disrupt the class. Cell phones, keep them out of sight. We do have cubbies in the new wing, so you can put your backpacks with your phones in them in there if you want. I'm not going to make you do that. But if I do see the phone, I'll give you a warning. Otherwise, I'm going to take it and hold it for the class period. Same thing with headphones. I'll let you know when it's cool to use headphones or if I'm having you listen to something on your Chromebook. Otherwise, I prefer they are out. That way you can hear me, or if there's an emergency, you can hear the instructions for that. And then food and drink. I'm okay if you have food and drink in here. I will have kind of a little electric kettle if you want to make like tea or coffee. You just have to bring your own mug. I will not be providing that for you. The only time I will not allow that is when we're doing labs, and that's just because we're working with chemicals. We don't want you mixing the food with the chemicals and then getting sick or causing some sort of reaction. This is pretty typical. Late work. It's going to be a little bit lenient this year just with everything, how it's all different. But if something's assigned, I'll give you 48 hours notice. Not a lot of homework for chemistry until the later units. So we don't have to worry about that so much for first semester. But same thing as last year. We grade 100% assessment based. You can always retake a test. You just have to let me know. We'll come and do a little bit of re-teaching, see where you went wrong, and then I'll let you retake it. Something for you to think about, especially if you are not coming in and I'm not having you do this in person. Just think about what are your expectations. What does an ideal class look like for you? Like what sort of things bother you in class and how do you learn best? You can always feel free to let me know those things. That's going to help me make it the best experience for you. And now we're on to probably the most important part for chemistry, and that is lab safety. So think about what are some of the most important safety features of the classroom. I can tell you in here, we have a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket for, you could probably guess, fire. And we have a shower. So what that means, if you get chemicals on you or if you happen to be on fire, that shower, you'll go under it, we'll pull the little lever, and it will drench you. Hopefully we won't have to use that. I will do a virtual classroom tour video and post that so you can kind of see where that is if you're not coming into the classroom itself. We do also have a first aid kit. So those are some of the important safety features of the room. Number 2, what do you think you should do if there's an accident and someone is hurt during the lab? If somebody gets hurt, which is very possible, you're working with tools, don't let it sit all class period. I will never be mad at you. Happens to everybody. Just come get my attention and let me know what happened, even if it's minor. That way I can keep an eye on it and get you whatever attention that you need. And then number 3, for dress code rules that are important during the lab, there's a lot more than 4, but the big ones are closed-toed shoes. You don't want to be dropping anything on your feet and causing burns or pain. Number 2, hair. If you have long hair, needs to be tied back, especially when working with Bunsen burners. We don't want that going anywhere near the fire, so always have hair ties. I will have a couple extra, but otherwise I just have rubber bands, which is a lot less fun. So make sure your hair is tied back during the labs. 3, no dangly like jewelry, or like if you have dangly kind of sleeves on a long sleeve shirt, you either got to roll them up, take the jewelry off, but you don't want that hanging in the chemicals, hanging in the fire, or kind of interfering with any of that. And then last but not least, most certainly, is that goggles and gloves are, when necessary, are super, super important to protect your eyes, to protect your hands, and all that good stuff. So those are the main things. It's very common sense. This is something that I'm going to have you kind of read through on your own and just think, okay, what would you do? So if you look at the first one, your group is in the middle of the lab using acidic chemicals. Tom starts to get hungry in the middle of the lab and pulls out his lunch. Is Tom being safe in the lab? Think about that. Think about if it's smart to have food around acidic chemicals. Probably not. Second scenario, Emily's unsure how to correctly use a Bunsen burner. Should she guess until she gets it right, or is there another option? If you don't know how to use something, always ask someone in your group, someone that you're working with, or come and ask me. I can always reteach you how to do that, especially with Bunsen burners, because that can be a pretty big flame. I'm going to skip this last one for now because it's not super important for us at the moment. So that is my kind of quick description of the syllabus and lab safety. Again, I will send you a copy of the full syllabus and a lab safety contract for you to sign, just so that you are aware of some of the rules and precautions we have when we're working in this lab. But we're going to jump right into claim, evidence, and reasoning. You've probably heard this before. I think you do some of it at the middle school level, but again, you're going to see it every single test. There's a claim, evidence, and reasoning question, so it's something to be familiar with. All right, the first part of this is the claim. Claim is the easiest part. It's just a statement about a problem, so what you think you know. So my claim is that flowers need sunlight to grow. Second part is the evidence. So what specific data supports your claim? So you want to think of what are the numbers? What are the numbers that you found? What are the numbers that you're reading? So I would say, okay, if my claim is that flowers need sunlight to grow, my evidence is because, well, the flower in the sun grew 1.5 inches and the one in the shade grew 0.5 inches. So the numbers are specific for the evidence. And that very last part, the reasoning, is just kind of you putting those first 2 steps together and showing how your data supports your claim. So my reasoning would be, I know flowers must need sunlight to grow because the flower in the sun grew way more than the flower that was in the shade. So it's kind of you just taking that claim, that evidence, and putting it into a nice sentence and description. All right, so now we have some claim, evidence, and reasoning practice. I am not going to play these right here, but what I want you to do is to watch the two videos. So they're both commercials. Hopefully you guys have heard of ShemWow. I think it's kind of old now. But I want you to watch those two videos and come up with a claim, evidence, and a reasoning for them. All right, if you are confused, I will post an example on Google Classroom so that you kind of have an idea about what I'm expecting. But you just want to think of, okay, I'm going to watch this video. What claim can I make? What's my evidence for that? And what's my reasoning for it?